Lynette Oxley here for Tax Shack Tactical TV. I'm here with Paul, and Uji is also here. That's what the panting is all about. In any case, welcome, Paul.
Hi guys, hi Lynette. Yeah, Uji's panting. He's very excited. There's some other people here, so he's been in and out of the pool, and he's wet and panting.
Yeah,
my boy.
And when you stop, he stops. Any case, so shall we start with the legal stuff with the Section 21 in June? Do you want to
Okay, so we re-enrolled that one case that we spoke about earlier with one of our members, where the Section 21 was refused. The temporary permit to possess a firearm was refused on the basis that the guy didn't have a South African citizenship. He doesn't, but he has permanent residence. Anyway, so that's been, we've now enrolled that because the purpose of Section 21, one of the purposes is specifically for this reason. So we've enrolled that in the court, and we've got a date in the beginning of June, but we're hoping, we've actually asked the registrar in the court if we can't move it a bit earlier, because it's quite urgent. The purpose for the Section 21 is because it's urgent. So now for them to boot it down the road by 3 months is just ridiculous. Anyway, so that's going ahead. We've now also in this week we've put in a second judicial review application for a Section 21 for our members. So we're hitting it hard. There's a lot of stuff happening.
I think also in conjunction between GOSA and GOSA Girls and Fire, I know that in the next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, we have a meeting with a lady that wears a hijab, and they have now actually, it went to appeal. I'm not sure what's going on.
So we had there's, I don't know if you guys recall, but there was a lady in the SANDF that because of her Muslim religion, she can't, her head can't be open. It's got to have a hijab on. But the point, the law requires that your face be visible, not your hair. It says nothing about your hair.
She can do
nothing about your
hair.
ears. It says nothing about your throat. It says your face has got to be visible. So if you wear a hijab without a veil, and the whole face is visible, the whole face is visible. It shouldn't be a problem. So we've had this before where CFR has refused this, and we forced them to walk it back.
But I know this one is going.
This one they've actually refused to walk it back, even though there's a high court ruling. In fact, I think it's a constitutional court ruling in that regard. But still, the appeals board is.
But we'll report back on that.
They're not the most colourful sparklers in the box, really.
GOSA Girls on Fire is taking it up with GOSA law, so we'll report back on that next week.
The law's the law. Follow the damn law. Don't try and invent stuff of your own because you have some kind of preconception. Anyway, so that we're pushing on.
The next point was Zondo.
Then speaking of legal stuff, so I see yesterday Acting Chief Justice Raymond Zondo was appointed as Chief Justice. Unfortunately, with the date of appointment from the 1st of April, which made me go, whoa, hang on a second. But if you remember, the Judicial Services Commission had recommended someone else, the current Chief of the Supreme Court of Appeal, and they very strongly recommended her. So the President used his discretion, and he recognized that the Justice from the Supreme Court of Appeal wasn't the correct choice. So he went against their recommendations, and he's appointed Justice Zondo. Now, where does the rubber meet the road on this?
We talked about Fidelity case.
So the Fidelity case, during the hearing of the Fidelity case, Acting Chief Justice at that stage, now Chief Justice Zondo, was very strong on questioning why the police were even in court, challenging the Supreme Court of Appeal verdict that went in Fidelity's favor. And he was saying, but aren't you wasting my time? Why have you brought this to court again? And then the state was this and that and the other, and then because this and because that. But they couldn't really explain themselves. And Justice Zondo on the stand during the hearing of the matter in the Constitutional Court forced the state to admit that they actually didn't have a problem with a new license on the basis with evaluating a new license for an expired license. So that was quite a important moment, and we're waiting for the verdict in that case. We're waiting for the judgment in that case. I suspect, if I'm to analyze these things, I suspect that now that the choice of Chief Justice is over, is past, I suspect we might see incoming Chief Justice Zondo having a lot more confidence to push his perspective. I hesitate to say that because it doesn't sound right the way it comes out, but hopefully the man now will be buoyed by the fact that he's just now been appointed as Chief Justice, where he wasn't really given. He wasn't the front runner, according to the Judicial Services Commission. Of course, let's not go into the Judicial Services Commission because that's a dog show of note. But so he's now emerged from that process, and the President has appointed him as our next Chief Justice. And congratulations, Judge Zondo, you deserve it. I know somebody that's worked very closely with the man during the Zondo Commission days,
yes,
and he speaks very highly of him. So. The man seems to have the right character. He seems to do
justice.
To do justice, to give us justice. Just give us
that's
justice.
All we want.
That's all we want. So I'm quite upbeat about the potential outcome of that constitutional case, and that constitutional case is again is the ability to apply for a new license on firearms that whose licenses have expired. So not renewal, a new license, but it also hinges in that case on where that firearm must be stored. Do we hand the firearms into the South African Police Service, who have a stellar record at losing and selling firearms in their custody, or do we find another solution? Do we lodge the firearms with dealers? And there would have to be a rewrite of the law to allow that, because the firearms at this stage are unlicensed. So for a dealer to take an unlicensed firearm into his stock would require something special. But maybe a Chief Justice who understands the complexities of the situation in a way that perhaps none of the other Chief Justices have. I'm not running them down. I'm just saying I don't think they ever went into this kind of detail. Justice Zondo seems to have steeped himself, that's a legal term, in the matter, and hopefully this will come out the way we hope it will for us.
I've been so busy, but did I hear that they were talking about amnesties in the Parliament again? Am I correct?
Yeah.
And they also they also talked about where the guns are going to be stored. I just heard this in passing.
Our friend Pieter Groenewald, the leader of the Vryheidsfront Plus, brought this up in Parliament last week. Now, Pieter's been a great friend to GOSA and to gun owners in general. He's also been the guy who has pushed amnesty, although he with us he shares a deep distrust of the process of amnesty, but as a means for people to retain their firearms, yes, definitely. So but then again we run into this bloody brick wall again of handing firearms to the police, who are the most distrustworthy citizens in the country, who are the people most likely to sell or lose your firearm. Norwood, Colonel Chris Prinsloo, the case goes on and on and on. So that's the problem. That's the problem we have with the whole situation. We don't believe amnesty is the solution, is the correct solution. It's a band-aid that we keep having to apply to the same wound. And it's time that we fix the problem rather.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's another matter.
Also not on the agenda, but the CRC, apparently they didn't pay bills, and so no criminal record checking is happening.
Okay, so oh God.
Which is causing quite a bit
So
of
the
problems.
Criminal Record Centre, who does the fingerprint checks.
To make sure that...
So it's not the police. This is one thing, it's actually not the police's fault. You know, so you know, give them bouquets where it's due, but through no fault of their own, the rent at their building wasn't paid or hasn't been paid for a while, so the landlord locked them out. So the whole of the Criminal Record Centre has come to a grinding halt. So they're not doing fingerprint checks because they can't, because they're locked out of their premises.
So, but that's going to stop the process.
This is the Department of Public Works. This is a general melee in the South African state, where the organs of state have run out of money. They can't afford to pay rent, so they've been cut off. And
without criminal record checks, you can't...
Everything grinds to a halt.
Everything grinds to a halt, especially in terms of licensing.
Everything grinds to a halt.
Because they can't...
Competencies and licenses, license renewals, everything grinds to a halt. That's a bit sad. So we're going to have to, you know, it's this clown show we have running the country.
With the Eskom, and I see
what can you do? You
we're
know,
very lucky here that we're off the grid, but
absolutely.
things are just getting,
we open the doors here, and it sounds like, and all the neighbours are running generators. Anyway, but it is what it is. So that's that. So then two signal events have happened in GOSA'S development in the last week. Now, as those, we're going to get to the origin story just immediately after this. So it's a little bit back to front. So excuse us for that. But these things stand on their own, and they need to be mentioned now, because I don't think we're going to get to them if we're tracing the origin story from beginning to end. So because GOSA started, when we started our first bank accounts, we started as a club.
In Stellenbosch, I think.
Yeah, at the Nedbank branch in Stellenbosch, where they demanded that all of us be present to sign the paperwork in the branch at the same time. Anyway, then Nedbank decided that you can do nothing with a club account, and they weren't prepared to change the club account into a current account, so we moved to First National. But that's besides the point. People have said to us often, but you know, why didn't you start out as a PBO, a public benefit organisation? Well, yeah, good point. Why didn't we? The fact of the matter is that it's quite expensive to draw up the legal contracts, etc., and to become a PBO out of the starting block. It's the better way to go, because you have no prior record, so you don't have to explain to SARS how you now suddenly want to become a public benefit organisation. So we've done exactly that with Girls on Fire. We've started them off right out of the starting blocks. I don't think you've got your tax-free status yet. But you should get it. You'll get it way before GOSA. Because GOSA now has years and years and years of operating and of books that have to be submitted to SARS for them to examine that, to then give us PBO status. So that's going to be a process. But what GOSA has managed to get right in the last week is we've managed to get our VAT registration right. So that's an indication also of the organisation's health in terms of the rest of our SARS commitments, but we've now got our VAT registration. And that comes in, important for us, in the next point that we're about to talk about. And that's the next point in GOSA'S development. You know, we do a lot of running around. Some months when we're hosting Girls on Fire, Top Shot events or firearms festivals, our travel bill can get very high. We pay AA rates to our staff if they travel. In this last weekend, we've been down at Hippo Creek in Fonnebel Park on 2 or 3 occasions for the Precision Rifle Open Day, and then for the Precision Rifle Nationals. That has a cost involved in it. There's a huge cost involved in it. Very expensive. So when we're paying AA rates, and you know, we end up paying thousands and thousands of rands worth of travel costs in a month. And particularly when we travel further, it's even more expensive
And
because
then-
we have to fly people backwards and forwards.
And then also the guns to transport.
And the
to
guns have to be
extend-
transported by road if we're holding a festival and stuff like that. So this has been a bugbear for a while. You might remember that last year in October with the festival that we held out at Wattle Springs, Paul Marr Ford in Northcliff generously branded and loaned us a Bakkie, which was great help for us and a great assistance. Since then, they did that again. We needed it for a weekend for something, and they loaned it to us again. And essentially, it's their demo Bakkie. It's their parts Bakkie. So it's not a new Bakkie, but it's a almost new Bakkie. I think it's dated first registration was May of last year. So it's a mid 2021 Bakkie. And it's a nice Bakkie. It serves our purpose. So anyway, so we offered to buy that last year.
Also for the trailer.
And also to tow the big GOSA trailer. We need that kind of vehicle. So we applied for finance last year, and through we changed accountants also over January, February, and that had an impact on the application, and it was kicked down the road a bit, but it was approved. So GOSA's got we got a good deal out of Paul Marr Ford, and they've kept for the last 6 months the vehicle has been wearing our branding. It's branded as the GOSA girls, Paul Marr Ford proudly supports gun owners South Africa, which it's been driving around all over Joburg and Pretoria like that, so we're very happy. Anyway, so we've got the finance through for the vehicle, and we're going to pick it up just after this show, just by the way. We went through a process again with the banks that were, but the directors have to sign surety. I'm sorry, what's the point of having a registered company if the directors have to sign personal surety for a company vehicle? Anyway, so we prevailed, and they've agreed to our terms, and so we're picking up the Bakkie a little bit. So that's another. It's for us. It's a giant leap into a proper organizational status where we actually have our own assets.
Maybe
we don't have to borrow stuff and
we ran our poor van
we
literally ran it to
we
pieces.
literally drove our van, our white van, until the engine failed on GOSA events.
So maybe we should also talk about the trailer which is standing there and how it actually came from.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves there. But yeah, we lost. So as you know, we lost a container that had been kitted out that we were using for firearms festivals. We lost it in the beginning of COVID at the lockdown. It was standing at Magnum United Range in Pretoria, and when lockdown happened, we couldn't access it. They wouldn't move it for us because everyone was locked down, and it was hit by
on several occasions
by the thieves from
Mamelodi
time and time again until they completely stripped it. So anyway, out of that we decided, look, we're not going to leave something on the range in future because of this and because transport costs have got so expensive.
Okay,
so we built ourselves a trailer. The trailer is 8 meters long by 2 meters wide by 2 meters high, and it folds out into a big stage and stuff like that, and we needed something serious to tow that. So that's going to be operational from just after the Girls on Fire. We're not going to use it for Girls on Fire, but just after the Girls on Fire Top Shot, so in April when we're hoping to host our next Firearms Festival, we will have that out on display. So that from that perspective. And that's sort of running into the origin story where I'd like to pick it up. I think we left the origin story last week at about 2013 or 2014 actually.
I think it was 2014.
When we were asked when GOSA was asked to form the Sports Shooting Forum in order to allow sports shooters to have input into at that stage the Senzo Mayiwa's law, the amendment bill that would have radically changed the firearms landscape in South Africa. The amendment bill, Senzo Mayiwa's bill, was named so after the South African soccer captain got killed by persons unknown at his girlfriend's house using a firearm which was actually police custody at the time, etc., etc., etc. But in any case, so then they came out and said, oh no, but it's sport shooting that's the problem. They want to nail sport shooting. So the United Firearms Forum at that stage, which is a loose body of representatives from associations, asked me to form a sport shooting forum, specifically so we could answer that problem. We formed that over December of that year, and in January we heard about the Parliamentary Firearms Summit, January of 2015, which was at the end of March in 2015. Because we already had the infrastructure of the sport shooting forum together, and because sport shooting is the easiest vehicle to use because it's shooting at targets. There's no little Bambis getting shot. It's not self-defense. So it's not, oh, you want to shoot other people. It's about shooting targets. It's clay targets. It's paper targets. It's steel targets.
Let me just mention it. We some of the ladies, when we say we're going to shoot pigeons and rabbits, somebody asked me recently. So we're not going to shoot little bunnies, are we? I said, no, we're not shooting little bunnies. So they're clays.
Anyway, clay targets. So, which is why clay pigeon shooting has also now become known as clay target shooting because people were confused about the fact that they suspected that clay pigeons were becoming extinct.
Actually, a lady was phoned, that lady that I interviewed said, what's her name, said that they actually got phoned because they had can they come and sort out a pigeon problem for them. That's basically what they said to her.
Bring your shotguns. We got pigeons. Yeah, yeah, there's anyway, so we were, because we'd set up the organization, the Sport Shooting Forum, specifically to lobby government. The moment we heard about the Firearms Summit, and none of the organizations had been invited. But the deck was stacked. The presenters were Gun Free South Africa, blah, 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 blah. It was a horrible situation. But because we'd set ourselves up, and as sport shooting specifically, we used sport shooting as the thin end of the wedge to get in the door. By the time the summit happened at the end of March, there was 28 of us in the room. So everybody followed through behind us. Once we got the leverage, everybody followed behind us. And the Senzo Mayiwa's bill, which was designed to be the outcome of the 2-day National Firearms Summit, was summarily changed after the first day. The one in Parliament, the Firearms Summit. After the first day, we put on such a good show in the first day already that they changed the agenda, and they took the conclusion of the summit, which would have been Senzo Mayiwa's bill, they took it off the agenda. They realized that they didn't have the support they thought they had, and they whipped it off the agenda. And quite honestly, we never saw that bill again until this new bill.
There's actually clips from that show, still way back on this channel, if you want to go
on this very channel. So the parliamentary TV service, which was running at the time, so they've got these big automatic cameras set up in the parliamentary chamber. We're in the old National Assembly chamber. And they zoom in on the speaker, and they record sound properly and stuff like that. So those clips are actually still available. They aren't great because I think Lynette was sitting at home with a cell phone camera, or was it a cell phone camera or something, taking photographs, taking video off the TV.
But at least it's recorded.
Yes, it's recorded for posterity. It's on this channel. Look it up, guys. It's way back, 2015.
There's been there were some interesting clips.
So anyway, so that went down quite well for us. As a result of that, we were invited back within I think in June of 2015 to suggest to the police brass and to the portfolio committee how we could change the Firearms Control Act to better serve the people of South Africa. And we put together a very good presentation, largely all credit to those who worked hard on it, largely Johan Skuman's work. He put together a fantastic slideshow, which is also somewhere available, I think, on our group. But anyway, but ask us for it, we'll give it to you, which just basically showed the process we have at the moment of the dual process we have of competence and of licensing, and how much duplication there is between the two processes all the way down the line. And that's not working smart. I mean, that's just That's just making work for yourself. It doesn't serve a purpose. It doesn't make the administration of the Act any more efficient or easier for the police. It makes it harder for the civilian. Nobody wins. It's clumsy. So we suggested ways in which it could be made easier, and we were at that stage asked if we could run a pilot project to along the basis of our suggestions, which would have essentially come down to license the person, register the firearm. Then Ria Piecha happened, and she was booted out, etc., because of the Marikana, and everybody that was attached to her was moved sideways or booted out or whatever, and everything slowed down after
It's a political game. This whole thing
it's
is a
politics, guys.
Gun rights is politics.
Yeah. You don't understand, guys. This is it's not like making a suggestion to somebody and they say, yeah, that makes sense, let's go for that. I get so many people that say to me, oh, why don't you just tell this to the court? Which court? You don't just get a chance to put your hand up and say, my lord, I have a suggestion. It doesn't work that way. You don't get a chance in Parliament to do that either, unless you're invited to speak in Parliament. I've actually managed to break parliamentary protocol once or twice, and I've been asked during briefings of the Portfolio Committee, and parliamentarians
to give them questions.
To have allowed me to answer questions which I shouldn't be allowed to do. But anyway, look, I've never not been pushy, so that happens.
I wouldn't say.
Anyway, so that happened. That went down very well, and then everything fell apart. We had a brief moment in the sunshine, a couple of months where we had decent comms with the police, and we all sat down in the room, and blah blah blah, and everything went great. Until about that was when Mabuli tried to assault Martin Hood.
Let's talk go that way.
Okay, yeah, that happened right behind my back. He came storming down behind my back. And Martin stood up to greet him, and he was in the national in the presence of the national deputy national police commissioner. Mabuli tried to assault Martin Hood. It was a special moment.
I could remember you talked about it.
Yeah.
Maybe let's leave it at that. But I would just like to say, for the first time, I think the gun community came together. Right,
yes, it was magnificent.
And that was such a positive thing.
We held a meeting the night before the parliamentary session started.
It was absolutely
at Kaapjag's offices in Bellville, and we all agreed on how we would proceed. And it worked like a bomb. I've got a bit of experience in presentations, and I've got a bit of experience in organisation. And I said to the guys at the Kaapjag meeting, I said, let's sit in a bunch.
Yeah.
Let's spread ourselves out all over the room, because what happens? Whoever is invigilating or who is running the presentation, the organizer, the convener, what he will do when he looks for answer, he'll pose a question and he'll look up into the audience for people and if everybody's putting up their hand and they're all sitting next to each other, he'll give that bunch of people one chance. And then you look over there for the next one and over here for the next question.
And it worked very well.
So we spread ourselves out all over the room. So when he looked up, when he posed a question and our hands went up, he was picking at random, but we had a much greater chance of being picked.
You did.
So we got a lot to say. We had a lot to say, and we got a lot said.
I think that was important in the history for gun rights in South Africa.
And that process that happened there was the reason that we became a membership-based organisation. We had never wanted to become a membership-based organisation before, but specifically when we tried to get down to Cape Town, we discovered that we didn't have the money. We had no money for it. So we sold T-shirts. We had cheap T-shirts, screen printed. I wore one the other day.
Yes,
that's what we had cheap T-shirts made. This is my soccer ball, particularly in honour of Senzo Miwa. That was how we financed it. Immediately after that, we realised this is just ridiculous. We're never going to get anywhere if we reliant on
you have to go more professional.
On begging. So we decided that we have to professionalise. In order to professionalise, to get professional people involved, you have to monetize. And in order to monetize, you need a membership base. So that's where the whole membership thing came from.
You pay peanuts to get monkeys working for you.
Well, no, hang on. Let me correct that, Lynette. Just let me correct that. Volunteers are fantastic people. They do things out of the goodness of their hearts. You cannot fault a volunteer. The problem is you also can't force a volunteer or hold a volunteer to account. If a volunteer, they look after them, they have to look after their families first. So if they have a problem, they pull out of something. And you're left hanging, and you're like, but, and they say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't. My child's sick, or my car broke down, or I'm about to lose my job, or something like. You can't insist that they meet some kind of performance standard. You can do that with employees. That's why we have a shambacking session every morning.
I just wanted to say, when Anne started working for us, which she's the office manager, she actually came and volunteered at a Huntex for us.
Yep.
Her time, and that's why.
Yeah.
She
So guys,
she's passionate about stuff.
Guys, GOSA started off as nothing. We started off as an idea. A couple of volunteers
and some people very passionate,
pushing money, their own money and time into it.
We did for
We
years.
now have an office staff of 8. As I say, we're on our way now to pick up our first company vehicle, which the company will own. The non-profit company will own the vehicle, so we can do whatever we need to do with it. We won't be reliant on our poor old white van that ran its bearings last year.
To get out to firearm festivals,
getting out to
Durban and Cape Town and Pretoria and all kinds of places.
So guys, the problem is that we are a public organisation. We're a public benefit organisation.
We can't do it without the.
We're a non-profit. Our books are scrutinised, and we're absolutely clear and free and upfront about everything. But we rely on the public. The public is our, we don't make money. We rely on you, the members, to fund us. So we've got.
If you don't have membership,
and I'm gonna help you shake the begging bowl. We've got this ladies' Top Shot event coming up on the 2nd of April. And we've had our sponsors and have come to the party, and fantastically. The guys have chucked stuff in, but they've chucked in goods and services. We still have range fees to pay. We have to pay for the restaurant. We have to pay for all sorts of
308 ammunition. If anybody has got any 100 rounds of 308,
one of those, or some of those fantastic fish tins full of 308 ammo would do us good right about now.
Otherwise, I have to buy it. And
apparently, it's all being used in the Ukraine.
Otherwise, I have to buy, and the cheapest I can get for that is about 8,500 rands. That's why I've been asking for money.
So guys, we've had wonderful people. We had people donating tattoo vouchers, but we need money to make it happen as well. We need cash money to make it happen, and we're a little bit light on the cash money right now.
I had what do you call it? Shirley's company. They're estate agents.
Okay.
They've just thrown 1,000 rands into the pot this morning. So I just wanted to
guys,
say thank you very
so
much.
We need to make it happen. That's what's going to make it happen.
And another thing, and it's just for me, just as much worth as much, is a person that pay a monthly fee. Put an extra $50 into the pot for that.
That is, so, guys.
Thank you very much.
Namaste.
Any case.
So yeah, guys. We're going places. We've done fantastic things. We've risen out of nothing in the space of a few years. We're a big, serious organisation. We're tackling serious matters. We are. People take us very seriously. The police take us very seriously. Parliament takes us very seriously. We've done really, really well for you, for the members, for all of us, for gun owners. I'm a gun owner myself.
And we both, I think, both you and me have been passionate. We wouldn't have done this, and at times it was like banging our head against a brick wall. But I really.
But we won't stop.
Passionate. Yeah, we won't stop.
Guys, have a great weekend.
Thanks very much.
That's all from me out.
Thank you. Cheers then.
Scrappy Land Rover has lots of friends. Come play with us, the fun never ends. We're gun buddies, we learn gun safety. It's fun and easy, just like 1, 2, 3. If you see a gun, you shouldn't be afraid. You're a gun buddy and you'll be okay. So gun buddies, what does Scrappy say? Stop, don't touch, call a parent, walk away. Someone has a gun they keep in their room. Don't touch it or it will go boom. Scrappy knows what's best, so listen girls and boys. Guns are not bad, but guns are not toys. If you see a gun, you shouldn't be afraid. You're a gun buddy and you'll be okay. So gun buddies, what does Scrappy say? Stop, don't touch, call a parent, walk away. A friend invites you to come and play. He tells you to touch a gun. No, that's not okay. Scrappy knows what's best, so listen girls and boys. Guns are not bad, but guns are not toys. If you see a gun, you shouldn't be afraid. You're a gun buddy and you'll be okay. So gun buddies, what does Scrappy say? Stop, don't touch, call a parent, walk away. If you see a gun, you shouldn't be afraid. You're a gun buddy and you'll be okay. So gun buddies, what does Scrappy say? Stop, don't touch, call a parent, walk away.